Oh, right, guys. It's the morning after the day before. Yesterday we had 4 seasons in one, plus I think the worst wind we've had even through the winter. I came out. There was pots on the bench, some heavy trees that had been moved by the wind, and some of the lighter ones didn't stand a chance. It was carnage. I was in the office today, so it was pretty much do what I could, and here we are doing the one bit of work I need to do. Now this cotoneaster, I'd had my eye on it anyway, thinking, am I happy? Do I want to repot it? And then when I found it, it was on the floor. All of most of the soil on the top half of the tree has long since gone. And, you can see the roots there. A lot of the soil had come out. So, sort of forced my hand anyway. In terms of the cotoneaster itself, it's sort of a semicascade. I've had this a year now, and slowly been wiring, cutting back, wiring, and I guess my long-term vision is to have a giant claw coming down away from the base. In terms of what I'm not happy with, it's got a very long main trunk that's perfectly straight, and it's rock hard. We're not getting any movement on there. I did consider maybe could I tape it and force it a little bit, but that's not going to happen. So what I'm going to do is take it out of this pot, and I'm actually going to put it into this pot here. Similar, almost identical in diameter, but twice the height, so the roots can get a little bit more depth, and hopefully that will encourage a bit more vigorous growth. The pot itself, what's it say? Fuji, Japan. I'm not sure if people in Fuji, Japan sign off their pots with Fuji, Japan in English. Maybe I'm wrong. It's a bit of I don't know if the camera will pick it up. Like an odd browny green with this brown trim and then brown trim around the edge. Don't particularly like it, but it's the perfect size for what I want it for. So I'm going to get myself set up. I don't envisage this taking too long. The roots. I am not going to cut all of the roots off. Okay, so first things first, let's take this wire out. Very well wired in. Almost feels like I didn't do it, but I did. Let's see what we've got. Okay. So, is it just me? Is that a different ice cream van? So you can see it's about ready for repot. Lots of new root growth, which is encouraging. Lots for me to cut away. And underneath, a bit of a mat. This is very dry. But it did get annihilated in the weather. So I'm just going to see if I can free this matted area up ever so slightly. I know I said I won't cut the roots, but anything absurd is going to go. So I can't lay claim to this design. I actually bought it last year at the I think it's the Doncaster show, the one that's just signed off. They're not going to do another. And I got it for £25, which at the time I was fairly happy with. I got there quite late though, so there wasn't much. No, that's a lie. There was a lot to choose from, but back then I didn't know what I was looking for. Were I to see something like this again, I probably wouldn't purchase it. In fact, everything else that I've got left to repot, they're all cotoneasters. I'm not too concerned. They can pretty much handle anything. Right. So we've got a few decisions to make. That root there. Got another one below it. This one down the back side. And then also something else to consider, the length of this is incredibly long. And I think actually it looks to be quite dead near the base, so I'm going to remove that. Okay. I'm just going to give these a little bit of a trim, not too much. Do I want to do anything with these? It's always easier watching someone on video. I'm like, yeah, I'll take that one. Then when you've got these choices actually in front of you, you're faced with the reality of if I do it, it's never coming back. Don't like that thick one right underneath there, so that can go. Not much on there, just a very thick root. There's another one next to it. So even though I don't want to remove much of the roots, and you know, this is never going to be anything to show off. Repotting this now, I'm not going to repot it again, probably for 2 years, so minimum. So I may as well do a little bit of refinement while I'm here. I really can't decide about that top one. It's very rigid. There we go. So there's not actually much coming off the top one. couple of strands of long roots, but it's certainly not supporting the growth. The question is, does it add anything visually when coming out of the pot? I'm going to keep it. And the reason I'm going to keep it is because I'm not sure right now. And that's not to say in the future it might make more sense. There's a hell of a mess right under here. I need some. There we go. It's almost like old soil, but that root there looks to be dead, so let's get rid of that. I watched one of my videos back and it dawned on me very quickly I need to oil these, squeaking away. So then we've just got this right angle coming out here. There's nothing that I can see on it, so that's going to go as well. So you can see it's just a lump. Okay. You can clearly see that I want to do more, but I feel alright with that. It's got a couple of fairly thick roots that could get that one out. Could be something in the future. Potentially. But above everything else, putting it in there, it's going to have plenty of room to grow. I did consider, is there any other angle that I could grow this at? And no. The answer is no. So all this has inside is one little drainage hole and then no holes for wire. So the question is, do I want to, or can I wire this in? Or do I want to place it a little bit deeper? I'm going to have to wire it in. It's quite, even though it's small, just the angle is going to make it naturally want to tilt upwards. So I'm going to reuse a piece of the wire from the old pot. No fancy wiring in screen technique for me. Get it in, get it secured. Job done. And then what I want is some thin wire to wire it in. So this is, I'm not sure, 0.5. It's almost too thin, but for something of this nature it should be okay. So I'm gonna actually put in 2 pieces, which might be overkill, but if it is, I can just take it out. And again, I see some convoluted ways of putting wire into the bottom of the pots, using gin pliers to It's bended into place. You ain't going to see none of that with me. It's not too much effort. Okay. Might have cut this a little bit short, but hey ho. So, a few videos back, I did say that what I liked the least when working on trees is pruning the roots. Do you know what? I've changed my tune. I don't mind pruning roots now. Wiring trees in is now my favourite, or least favourite part of the hobby. So the tree is going to sit in around about there. So I've got a couple of inches of space to put the soil into initially. So let's get this filled up. I have the soil on my right hand side this time. Might be enough to begin with. Now I need to look at where the tine wires are going to go. So probably only going to need one pair, just because all the roots are sort of laterally. There's nothing coming in the other two directions. So the other direction. So probably about there. I'm not going to wire it in yet. I'm going to put a little bit of soil into the top. By the way, if this is horrific, it's because I'm so poor at wiring trees in. So do not judge me. So I'm just going to work this first layer of soil in. And then see if I can wire it. I might wire it. No. It's going to have to be that way over the back of the tree. To hopefully stop it from falling outwards. So I'm just going to pull this wire into place. Have to be mindful that this wire is coming out of a very small hole. So if you keep pulling it too much, you will end up with two thin bits of wire coming straight up vertically, not getting any sort of lateral tension into the tree. Actually, I'm very happy with that. I'm just going to add a couple more twists. That'll do nicely. Snip the end off. So yeah, I'm not actually going to use those two. There's no need. So another layer of soil. And I've actually covered that large root that's coming out of the front bit. I'm not too concerned because it wouldn't annoy me to have some roots develop from that large root. So, a relatively boring video compared to some of my most recent ones, but let me get tidied up and we'll have a closer look. There we have it. That is my front. I'll give it a quick spin. So as you can see, it's going to claw downwards to in that direction. That's the other angle. Not unattractive, and actually the angle I've got, it does have it's created a perceived curve. So no, I still feel that is the best front for this little cotoneaster. It's off centering the pot slightly. It should be, the pot should be there. Right, hopefully we'll get some good growing and the wind will not knock it off again, but you never know. Okay, cheers guys. Hope you're all well and I'll catch you soon.